Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a 550 point battle report today. It's going to be Raven Guard versus the Salamanders chapters. Um, the way this mission is going to be broken down is it is a simple half of the board. There's going to be one objective marker here in the center. As you can see, the little raven with the melted bomb. And the way it's going to work is basically the raven is going to be moving around the map, and we're going to use one dice and one scatter dice to control the movement of it. So basically, we would roll, and wherever it would land. So unfortunately, that one showed that it would stay completely still, so it wouldn't move anywhere. But for example, if it happened to show the arrow pointing down this way, this would represent the number of inches. So if we decided to move the objective marker, it would be moving 1 inch in this direction. Each time it's going to be 10 points for holding the objective, and it's going to be an extra 10 points for holding or for slaying the warlord. So pretty simple match today. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. There's a little bit of the terrain board. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. But yeah, so now let's go ahead and get into the armies. All right, so this is my Raven Guard list. It is actually 550 points on the nose. We have a Primaris captain. I went ahead and spent a CP for Master of the Trifold Pass, so he's going to get 2 Warlord traits. His first one is going to be the Master of Vigilance. So every time he rolls to hit, a 6 deals 1 mortal wound. And the second Warlord trait is a Feign Flight. So he can shoot and charge in a turn in which he fell back. Up next, I've got a Company Champion. I spent 1 CP for Relic of the Chapter. He has the Eternal Shield, which is basically a 4-up invuln save. It has +1 to his armor save, and then he also has a 5-up Feel No Pain. Up next, I've got 2 squads of Primaris Intercessors. Nothing crazy about them, just your standard run-of-the-mill. Up next, I've then got a squad of Eliminators. I spent a CP for Token of the Brotherhood, where basically the Sergeant is going to get the, and I apologize if I butcher this, but it's the Core Vidari bolts, where basically it's going to add an extra 6 inches to their guns, and it can target characters even if they are without a line of sight. And then for my last unit, I have a squad of Assault Marines with jetpacks. The Sergeant has Lightning Claws, and everyone else just basically has a bolt pistol and chainsword. So yeah, that is the Raven Guard. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Salamanders. Alrighty then, so this is my brother's Salamanders list, so let's go ahead and get into that.
This is the Venerable Dreadnought. He's got the Heavy Flamer and Twin Las Cannon. Then we got the Invictor Tactical Warsuit. He, of course, has the Incinerator Cannon, and everything else. The Twin Iron Heavy Stubber, his Fist, his Bolter, and the Grenade Launcher. Then we have the Tactical Squad Marine with the Sergeant with a Combi Flamer, three Tactical Marines with bolt guns, and then one with a rocket launcher, a missile launcher. And then we have my HQ, a Captain Terminator armor with the Forge Master, which adds 2 to his toughness, and then the Salamander's Mantle, which makes all attacks against him -1 to wound.
Okay, and how many points was it in total?
540.
Alrighty then. So now we are going to move on to deployment. Alrighty then. So deployment is all set up. For the Raven Guard side, we've got the Eliminators right here on the 2nd floor. Got a squad of Intercessors right here with the Captain. Company Champion over here. And then the other squad of Primaris Intercessors over here. For the Salamanders, Invictus Tactical Warsuit way up in the front, almost on the Raven Guard line. So, but also pretty much on the objective as well. And then over here, we've got the captain being surrounded by the tactical marines, and then the dreadnought. So, by the way, I forgot to mention these are going to be 12-inch deployment zones, so that's what the white dice represented. So, just to make it easier, but of course they're going to be picked up. The center objective is already here in the right here, but now we're going to move on to go ahead and roll it. So if you want to go ahead and roll the scatter dice real quick. Okay, so it's going to be moving 3 inches that way. So we're going to go ahead and get that moved along, and then we're going to start round 1. All right, so I went ahead and moved the Raven, and funny enough, it actually got closer to the Warsuit. We also did the roll-off, so it's going to be Salamanders, turn 1. All right, so turn 1 for the Salamanders was pretty brutal. The Victor didn't really move up all that much. It pretty much stayed still, but it used the CP Fires of Battle, where basically any 4-ups do mortal wounds. Killed off a guy here, and then the regular damage also removed another guy. Dreadnought fired into the Eliminators, did nothing. Tactical Squad fired into these guys right here, killing off one of the Intercessors, and the captain also fired into them, dealing nothing. So now we're going to move on to Raven Guard, turn 1. All right, so end of the Raven Guard turn. Pretty lackluster as far as it all went. Shot through pretty much every crack grenade I could into the Victus Tactical Warsuit, and whatever hit, basically it just shrugged it off. I did fire a hyperfrag round into it with the Eliminator, and that did nothing. Did shoot one of the Intercessors into here, and only dealt 1 wound to the squad. Did charge everything into the Warsuit, and surprisingly only did a few wounds to it. It's down to 9 wounds. I spent a CP for the Primaris squad over here. These guys got shot up in Overwatch and only had 2 guys left, and one was dealt 1 wound through his flamethrower. These guys spent a CP for Gene Rot Might, where basically Exist to hit automatically wound the target, and it was able to deal 2 wounds to him. Or 3 wounds in total from him, or I'm sorry, no, 2 wounds. Then these guys each chipped off a wound each onto the Invictor. They spent a CP for counteroffensive, where basically he attacked my company champion and dealt 1 wound to him. Thankfully, he was able to shrug off most of it because it was feel no pain. So yeah. Now I will say the Raven Guard do have the objective at the moment, because they do have a troop unit on it. So now we're going to roll to see where the Raven moves now. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so now it's going to move 2 inches in that direction. So we're going to get that underway, and then it's going to be Salamanders, turn 2. All right, so turn 2 for the Salamanders. Pretty much was the whole push everything forward mentality. The Invictor Tactical Warsuit fell back and made way for the whole units. Tactical Squad right here rolled up on this squad right here, killing the one of the Intercessors. Venerable Dreadnought charged the squad right here, actually got a 12, and came in and bonked 2 of the Marines right here. Captain heroically intervened and dealt 2 wounds to the Dreadnought. and the captain was able to make the charge on the champion right here, and was able to deal 2 wounds to him. So yeah, so now we're going to move on to the Raven Guard turn 2. All right, so pretty things went pretty bad for the Raven Guard. Not gonna lie. Basically, only 1 wound was dealt to the captain right here, and it was only because the captain over here, he fell back and he went through the terrain because of his ability, and he charged back into him and was able to deal 1 mortal wound through his trait. But other than that, all the other attacks that went into both the tactical squad here, the dreadnought here, they failed to wound. I spent a CP for the Raven's Blade because I brought these guys out of Deep Strike to come in and charge the tactical squad here. Spent a CP on it, and they failed both the charge and the reroll of the charge. So yeah, however, because of the troop choice, the Raven Guard still hold this, so it is now 20-0 for the 20 for the Raven Guard and 0 for the Salamanders. But things aren't looking too hot, so now we're going to move on to turn 3 for the Salamanders. Real quick before we get into the turn 3 for the Salamanders, I had completely forgotten to roll the dice for the objective, so let me go ahead and move that. So it is actually going to stay the same. So now let's go ahead and move on to the Salamanders turn 3. All right, turn 3 for the Salamanders went pretty well. Not really a whole lot happened as far as combat. The Invictus Tactical Warsuit went and shot up the captain, which is now on 3 wounds left. The captain, Terminator captain, also dealt some damage to him as well. Then pretty much the 3 tankiest units surrounded the 1 intercessor, and even though I spent CP for transhuman physiology, you go ahead and do the math and see where that led you. But now we're going to move on to Raven Guard turn 3. All right, so turn 3 went down for the Raven Guard and actually did a lot better than turn 2. So shooting phase, nothing really happened. I shot into the Invictus Tactical Warsuit when the captain was out of combat, and the Assault Marines, before they were in combat, did no wounds to it. I charged the Terminator captain with my captain, and I spent the CP for Lay Low the Tyrant. So basically I got a +1 to wounds. So instead of, with his extra buffs and all of that, instead of wounding on 5s, with my chapter buff and the CP, I was able to wound him on 4s. And I also got 2 mortal wounds in because of my Warlord trait. So that was able to bring him down, and one of the wounds got him in combat. So he did spend 2 CP for Rise from the Ashes. We're basically on a 4-up. The character would come back with only 1 wound. Unfortunately, he spent the CP and rolled the dice, and he did not get it on the rolls. So yeah, so I get an extra 10 for Slay the Warlord. However, because none of these units have objective secure, the thing is still up in the air. So it is now 30 for the Raven Guard and 0 for the Salamanders. So now we're going to roll to see where the objective is. All right, so it's staying the same as it was last time. So now we're going to move on to turn 4 for the Salamanders. All right, so turn 4 was pretty devastating. Salamanders came out in tenfold. They enacted Flamecraft with pretty much everything. Their Flamecraft just pretty much did max number of shots for anything that had a flamer, which is both the Dreadnought and the Invictus Tactical Warsuit, and which pretty much blew away all of the Assault Marines here. And then the fires of battle, where pretty much the mortal wounds came in and blew the captain away. So yeah, that's it of the game. I mean, we could have kept going, but all I had left was just an eliminator. So yeah, Funny enough, the game actually ends with a tie because end of turn 4, Salamanders would have gotten this one, and then at the end of turn 5, the Salamanders would have got the objective again. And since they killed the captain, they got an extra 10. So yeah, that was the end of the game. It was 30 for the Raven Guard and 30 for the Salamanders. So now we're going to move on to the after action report. All right, so here we are for the after action report. So we're going to go ahead and let my brother go first. So, what did you think of the battle?
It was pretty good. The big tanky guys came in clutch, burning the assault squad, making sure that they didn't. They got their revenge on the 3 guys that lost in the tactical squad. So not a whole lot of loss on my side.
Yeah, funny enough, he even though I beat we tied points wise, model wise, he still kept most of his army. Um, he only lost 4 guys, 3 from a squad and 1 that was his captain. Meanwhile, I lost pretty much most of my force after turn 3. So yeah, overall it was a pretty good game. I hope you guys liked it. It was a little bit something different, not completely just guard and salamanders or knights. I have my own Raven Guard force, so I figured I wanted to change it up before the New Year's, give you something a little bit different. I also hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. I would love to hear in the comments what you got for Christmas, whether it was like some box sets or some paints or stuff like that, or even if it's not 40K in general. I'd love to know what you guys got, even if it was just you got to spend time with the family. But yeah, that is it, guys. Quick reminder, I still have the giveaway going on right now. It ends on the 30th, or I'm sorry, the 31st. So you have until then to enter the giveaway. Remember, it's in the channel. I'll be sure to put in the description of it this time in the video. But yeah, so other than that, hope you guys like the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.